I thought it would be appropriate to start painting in my sketchbook here with these paints which came from Paul Rubens a little while ago. This is their 24 colour Seascape branded set, and I can use this painting that I'm going to do here, which is just an exploration of the stones and their shapes and their designs that are on them. I can use that as a way also of exploring, if I can get into this, the properties and the colours of these different pigments and see how they really go. A better way, really, of exploring them than just swatching them onto a piece of watercolour paper or something like that. This one doesn't want to come out. You can actually take the whole thing out if you've got strong fingernails. I know you can, because I have, but too hard for me today. Come on. This is where I made a sharp object. I'll take this one out and then I'll probably be able to get underneath it with a knife. This is the reality of making a video, and that's the whole point in doing this, is to show you really, and hopefully you'll enjoy the actual process. I know a lot of people have made what they call process videos. I haven't done anything like that yet, but this one is going to be something like that. What I actually do when I paint, if I have time to paint for myself, and how much time you spend preparing, doing things like this, which just are fiddly and awkward. And that's why sometimes I think I just resort to painting with the Kuretake paints, because they are such reliable and they're right there. They're in my top drawer next to me here. And I can actually paint without even bothering to get the set out and just reach down and pick up the colours. And I know I don't have to do very much mixing. And so on. As a painter, I was kind of raised on the idea of mixing your own colours. You know, start with a palette of just 10 colours and mix all the ones that you need from that. And that is by far and away the best way to start learning to paint if you properly want to learn to paint. And the same goes for if you're doing oils or anything, acrylic. I'm not sure about pastel. I think you probably need lots of colours for pastel, which is one of the things that kind of frustrated me about pastel, because you don't mix the paints in the same way. You let them mix on the paper, really. Either you do that kind of rubbing method where you smooth them all in. My late mother-in-law used to paint in pastel, and that's what she did, just smoothing. Or you can do it more like someone like Ray Balkwill does, which is to use bold strokes and let the strokes speak for themselves, and optically they blend in from a distance so they look like they're smooth, although they actually aren't. And that's great for larger work and for people who have space and where it doesn't matter that you drop a lot of dust on the floor. And I stopped doing pastel actually, although I've got a wonderful set, more colours than you could possibly want. I'll get rid of this lot. Because of the powder. It's not ideal if you have anything like sensitive lungs. So let's get rid of these bits. Oops, I left one behind. Anyway, back to these paints. Yeah, we've got various different colours on here, most of which are basically basic, so no problem about that. So I'm just going to dip into them as I go along. I'll try them out in my palette here and see what happens. I don't like much painting from tins like this, because this is in the way. If you're trying to do something on camera, it's really in the way. And what you can do, if you've got the patience and a pair of sharp scissors, you can pull this rod out, which is here. I don't know whether I can grip. I need a pair of tweezers or a pair of pliers or something like that. Sometimes you can do it with a pair of scissors. Just grab hold of that. I'll try once more. No, I'm not going to be able to do it. The other thing you can do is you can, if you've got something thin, it's funny really, because I'm in a place where I don't have all my gubbins, as we used to call it in England, which means all the bits and pieces that we normally have around us to make things work. And I haven't got any of them here, so I haven't got a pointy thing and I haven't got a pulley thing. If I did, you can see there's a little rod there, and you probably know this. If you can grab hold of it, you can pull it out, and then that piece comes away, and then it's better. It's better, but never mind, I can't do it. So my stones are here. I'll spread them out a little bit, and we're going to start. I'm going to not try to match the colours exactly, but to just intuitively, if you like, just paint what happens to come to my brush. You could say, got some clean water here. You don't need to see that really. And just push this up a bit, bring the camera down a bit, and I think we might be ready to roll. I can, of course, always use this as a palette as well, since it happens to be there in the way. Okay, so we'll start with a medium-sized brush, I think, today. The size 7 draw well. And I need to sit down. Okay. It's always fun to dip the brush in the water for the first moment. Let's see what we've got here. These colours, to me, all look vaguely pinkish. Looks as if they've all got a little bit of pink pigment in them, but whether or not I'm going to bother with that, I don't know. Let's see what colour this is. Oh, that looks like a quinacridone. Okay, let's see what colour this is. That's burnt sienna. Mixed together, we're going to get a softer colour. And this one here, what's this? It's green. Yeah. My first thought is that this set is going to be, doesn't have a brown in it at all. Let me look at this. Not ideally suited if it doesn't have anything remotely resembling brown. It's perylene maroon. That's a reddish, not that. You see how difficult it is if you haven't done a swatch. I think it must be this one. No, that was the burnt sienna. La la la. Is it this one? No, that's grey. Well, that's a good start. That's grey. That must be kind of, that could be a good way to start. In a set that's kind of full of bright colours. I don't know where they get the idea that sea is such bright colours, but anyway. So we'll start with black, and I'm going to put other colours in, so like red, for example, and see what we get there. And then we might put a bit of quinacridone in to give us a brown. So there we are, that's a brown. This is a brown. So this was black, quinacridone gold. I think it's quinacridone gold. They probably don't call it that, transparent yellow. Anyway. What is your name? What is in a name? A rose would smell as sweet by any other name. So let's do this one first. And I'm concentrating on shape, and I don't really care what happens. Do you see what I mean? If this looks like the rock or not. I do think that's a very good mixture though. So that was, yeah, black, quinacridone yellow or transparent yellow and a little bit of red. How about that? And there's no browns in this set as far as I can see. So let's then look at it. It's got lots of dots and stuff like that. So we could pick up a bit more black, make that brown a bit darker, and put it in different places. And let that run. We've got some granulation going on there, which is nice because, after all, rocks, if anything, is going to be granulated. It's going to be a rock, isn't it? So let's leave that alone for now. So you're done. Let's do a big one. How about that one? That's very pale, isn't it? And can we do it using the grey that I've got here? That is the question. And the answer is yes. So it's the same colours, but just with a lot more water. This is great practice for anyone who's not sure about reproducing shape on paper. You know, a visual shape goes into your eyes and into your brain. And how do you transfer that back down from your brain through your arm onto the paper in front of you? Yeah. So I think for the colour there, we might just as well add in a little bit of the burnt sienna. And again, I'm going to let that just sit. And if I want to, I'll come back and add more shadow. This is the next one. This is very blue. It's quite interesting. It's almost the same shape as that. So if I want it to look good on this page, I'm going to have to either turn it round or do it from a different angle like that. I could do it like that. That's probably a good idea. To get that colour, I'm going to have to add a bit of blue. So I'm going to go into this slot here, just add that to make that grey a little bit bluer. And then this one is going to be here. I think one of the funnest things to do in watercolour painting is to, and this grey wants to come on this side here, is to try to colour match. And not because you want to necessarily absolutely match, but because the process is so rewarding. To be able to come up with a green, blue, blue or green like that, from a random little pile of blue that's on your palette. I hope you can see that. Yeah. Mixed with a random little pile of grey brown on there, and you think to yourself, there's nothing to worry about, is there? This one's not quite dry yet, and you know what I'm going to do to give it some really good texture? I'm going to take a piece of kitchen towel, scrumple it up a little bit, and just remembering what the texture was like, come in there with this, just breaking that up a bit. So it has a lighter area. Well, I see, because it was like that. So I think that's fine. It's better tonally with these ones here. And this darker colour here, we're going to have to go to our brown and go to our blue and perhaps a little bit of mauve to give it a bit more grey. Just let that run like that. And then it's got these dots down here. Okay, soften that edge a bit. Let that dry. This has dried nicely, hasn't it? And I'm coming over this side here. We'll put a small one, I think, maybe that one. Actually, I'm going to leave the centre space there because I want to write in there rocks from Larnaca Beach. So I think I might do that. That's the black. We were starting with the black. We keep starting with the black. And then we had a bit of red. And we have a bit of transparent yellow. A bit more black, perhaps to make it a little bit more blackish, but more water. How do you spell rock? Okay, let's put a bit of that blue in there. Oh, what an amazing green. Have I got any green ones? Possibly not. So how do we neutralize green? We go for purple. Yeah. And then I reckon if we put a bit of this colour again in there, we'll have something resembling that. Let's put you down here. More red. I expect a lot of you will have practiced doing this kind of thing with the blobby birds and so on, putting one colour in on top of another. And so this is a more serious version of that. And let's put this one here, shall we? And that we want to have mostly blue. So let's go to our blue. Is this blue? Yeah, that was blue. And we are shaped like this. And when you've done all your stones, you know, and let them dry, you can always, if you want to, embellish them and do lines on them and things. And this is a good example of one that's got lines on it. You could do that if you wanted to. Okay, for this, we're going to have some of this brown into this green, or whatever colour you want to call that, and then we'll lighten that up a lot. A bit more red, make it pinkish. And I think we'll put that one here. And see how easy it is to achieve a grey. All you need is 3 opposite colours. And this is one that's definitely got stripes. I don't know whether the stripes will stay once it's dried, because they will spread and it's very wet, but we can come back if we want. Now, if you're feeling that this one is too dark too, what we could do there is also the same thing. We can take a little bit of it out, and then we could put some other colour in to dull it down a bit, and you'd never know. did that one, didn't we? How about this one? That's very bluish as well. But we're mostly focusing on the shape. Making the shape that we see with our eyes goes into our brain, and how we get that out again onto the paper. And once you've mastered that, which is not to say that I have mastered it entirely, although I'm better now than I used to be, if that's any comfort, I'm definitely better than I used to be. Once you've mastered the art of transferring the shapes of rocks onto the paper, chances are you'll be a lot better at transferring the shape of anything onto paper. We didn't do this one yet. This is quite nice. That's a very plain shape. I think we might actually break out a little bit into this creamy colour here. What are they calling that? Naples yellow. And but it's got blue in it, hasn't it? So let's just do the shape. Don't like that at all. It's not my idea of Naples yellow. Naples yellow shouldn't go green like that. If it was a real Naples yellow, it wouldn't go green, but we'll ignore that for now and just think about the shape. The whole point of Naples yellow, as far as I was concerned, was to follow David Bellamy's advice. David Bellamy is well known, I think he's still alive, very well, I'm sure he is actually, a very healthy man. Well-known English watercolor painter for leisure painters, but he also does quite complicated and large watercolors with a great deal of detail, very fond of mountains. And I think it was from him that I learnt the idea in a sky of using Naples yellow between the background, where you had, for example, a row of trees, and the blue of the sky. In order to stop the blue and the green mixing, you put, or if it wasn't even green, let's say it was, say you wanted a pink band in the sky because it was a sunrise or a sunset, the Naples yellow put in between would stop any interference. So a Naples yellow that actually mixes with grey and turns green is not what you want. So go to Winsor & Newton if you want a proper Naples yellow, I would suggest. Now this, I'm still doing this one. So we've got some blue there, haven't we? And it's kind of swirls. I'm not trying to do it completely accurately. Just some kind of indication of the sort of character of that particular rock. Okay, we've done quite a lot of them. Haven't done this one, so let's put this one down here. That's a nice shape. Make sure it doesn't echo this one too much, so we turn it round, let's say, like that. And we're looking at a brownish colour like this one. You could always draw around it. You remember we did that the other day with the rocks. We just drew around them so that you could easily get to the point of painting. So that's something else that you can do. And we'll just put a little bit of grey down the bottom here where there's a bit more shadow and a bit over here. Another thing you could do when these were done, when you finally finished, you could go over them with ink, or you could embellish them with any kind of pen, you know, black or brown or gold or white or anything you want. Or you can paint another layer on top to give more detail if you felt that that was what you wanted to do. Did I do that one already? I think that's this one, isn't it? So we are now on to the last one, which I think is this one. Let me see, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. This is number 10. So we're going to go there. I didn't realise there were 10 of them. So let's go for a more opaque version. of grey. This has got a lot of pigment smushing around in it. Quite heavy pigment. There we are. I'll do that a little bit bigger than it actually is, perhaps. And let's go for the blue at the bottom. Let that run. These ones are all dry. These ones are still wet. Rocks from Larnaca. $20.26. If you want to treat this as a real sort of diary or journal or something like that, a sketchbook with information in it, you can write things in about these stones, and you could go and look up to find out what kind of rock they are. That's interesting on the other side, isn't it? That's this one here, which is quite smooth on that side. On that side, it's got all sorts going on. I have no idea about geology at all. I have no knowledge whatsoever. I just thought that would be interesting to do. So I think I'll stop there and let that dry. And then we'll find something to do for the next page next time. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you picked up a few tips about colour mixing and how to deal with a set of paints that doesn't have brown in it. I couldn't find it anyway. There's a brown in there. I don't know where it is. But it doesn't matter because you can mix your own quite easily. Yes, it's looking as if, you know, my next step would probably be to reach for a pen and start putting lines all over it, which you could. But this isn't that practice. This is something different that we're doing here. And so I'm going to leave it like that. And I'll see you soon for the next page, which won't be rocks, but it might be interesting. So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody. Welcome again to From the Garden, our baby sister channel. And I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you again soon.
I'll just film a bunch of stuff.
So what, you just want me to wander around?
Yeah. We head back up to the slightly bigger ones and you can pick a couple up and look thoughtful.
This one's good because it looks like kind of the horizon. See what I mean?
It's true.
I'm just looking for ones with something like a pattern on that we can use for inspiration. Someone's lost their scrunchie.
Oh yeah.
Can you see any interesting ones? I'm feeling somewhat uninspired at the moment. Oops. Oh, that one's nice. Oops. Can you see it against the sea?
Kind of. Yeah. Right.
Okay.